lived-in precision, and empowering concept. Hair fashion continues to be told through a visual and wearable stories. Shake up the imagination. Think past happy eras, the roaring 20s, the summer of love in the 60s, and the loved-up rave scene of the 80s. Consumers will seek out looks that stimulate and make proactive or confident statements. Rise up and rediscover the joy in design. Embrace the opportunity, and most of all, have fun.
Here we have Julia, the perfect model for an asymmetrical pixie cut. Let's get started. First, we're going to take a section at the parietal ridge, starting from the front left of the head to the back of the crown, and continue the line around to the right side of the head, isolating the top of the hair from the bottom. Once you've isolated the section of the parietal ridge, use your CMVS sectioning clips to section the hair above the parietal ridge out of the way. Now coming to the side, taking a section approximately 1 inch back from the hairline, comb the hair into natural falling position. From here, you're going to create face framing pieces with your shears, letting your stationary blade come up against the skin for stability. When creating these types of shape, take artistic liberty based on the density and the hair type to determine how short or what type of face framing you leave in this area. Now we'll take this section and split it in half horizontally. Elevate this hair straight up from where it lives, and now we're going to remove the bulk. Once the hair is evenly elevated, cut. Because we're removing the bulk of the hair, it'll make it much easier for our next step. Placing your comb horizontally in the same section, elevate the hair and use your clippers to take that length shorter. By first using shears to remove the bulk, followed with the clippers, we're making quick work of getting short lengths within our hair shape. Next, using your shears to open up over the ear, customizing this look to accentuate the face framing pieces. Repeat the steps on the second side. Here you can see Teresa's elevating the hair again to remove bulk from the hair, making it much easier for us to more accurately come through and cut the determined length with our clippers. Because of elevation, you can see it is shorter on top and gets longer and blends into the base as it drops in a natural falling position. And again, take your shears to cut out the ear. Now, coming back to the original side, we're going to repeat the step that we did previously. Taking a panel of section and elevating it straight up, we're going to now establish a guide to continue working around the back side of the head. You can see there's some disconnection in length between the side and then moving behind the ear. We're going to continue around the back of the head so that this shape hugs Julia's head as she wears it. Moving from right to left, we're now going to take the second panel of hair up. We have a guide to use for length from the previous section. As you continue to work around the head, your elevation begins to drop. This easily creates the asymmetry in the weight line as it continues around the head shape. Now moving through the last panel, you can see how Teresa continues to drop her elevation So very quickly, she gets a beautiful asymmetrical weight line through the back of the hair. The end of this length is going to finish at approximately the base of her ear. Teresa is now combing the hair in an upward motion so that you can more clearly see the asymmetry of short to long, moving from Julia's right to her left, then combing it into place. As you're checking your consistency, you can come back to match the elevation that you previously had to balance out the line. Now, combing the hair back into natural falling position, use a technique with your razor and comb coming through below the established weight line to help remove bulk. When we partner softness and texture with hard lines and perimeter, it creates a perfect balance in a shape. Now as the hair moves, you can see how incredible that soft texture is and where the length starts to build as it moves around the head. When you see more bulk, you'll visually identify it and remove it with the razor and comb technique. When we work through creative shapes, there's a balance between technical skill and visually connecting with what we see. When we master these more creative shapes, we're able to have a perfect partnership of both to get to an end result. As you continue to cut with proper mechanics, always make sure you're visually watching the shape to ensure that the balance and the end result is where you want it to be. Now from this profile, you can see how the weight line built up to more length as it came back behind her ear. Now let's move to the top of the head. First, Teresa is isolating individual sections that run from the crown to the face. This is because these sections are going to have alternating lengths that won't necessarily blend together as we cut them. By clearly isolating these sections, we can stay in control as the lengths alternate. In the first section, watch Teresa's finger angle. In the front, this is going to start short, and her finger angle will continue to let the hair lengthen as it moves to the crown. You can see how this hair gets longer in this first section as it moves from the front to the back. Teresa will now complete this first section and move to the section parallel to it. The difference is, instead of being short in the front and long moving back, it will now be long in the front and short as it goes to the crown. As you continue through these top isolated sections, you will continue to alternate the change of length. This is immediately removing weight in a strategic way to add texture and movement to this hair shape. Looking at the model from the front view, you can see this change in length around her face. How these sections alternating were either short in front and long to the crown, or long in front and short to the crown. As Teresa completes this last section on this side of the head, you can see the length is getting longer as it moves to the crown. And now working on the other side, you can see how this section is getting shorter as it goes to the crown. Working into the last section, you can continue to see how the change of length affects the shape on the interior of this top section. The key being changing from short to long or long to short in each parallel section. As Teresa shakes out this shape, you can see the effect that the alternating lengths have in the top of this haircut. Once the hair is dry, we can now personalize and customize this haircut. And the perfect tool to do so is with the Samvia 14-tooth point cutting shears. Thinking about the movement that you want the hair to have, work the shears through the shape. As we come into the top of the head, let's continue to remove weight and add texture. With the texture shears, work from alternating directions across the head shape. Your flat, stationary blade should be against the head as the teeth of the shear are on the top for control. You can see the impact of this weight removal has and continues to create multiple variations of texture throughout this haircut. Look at this beautiful pixie. The asymmetry and the incredible disconnection and texture makes this so unique. But now we need to turn up the volume. Using Redken's Quick Dry 18, show off this beautiful work from the inside out. Accentuate all that texture in the hair. You have not just created a pixie cut, you've created something special that's so much more than your average pixie. And this is the Julia Pixie. It's never the same haircut twice. Personally customized to fit each individual client's hair and personality. Your clients will love it and keep coming back for more.